When I'm a do 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 do. When I'm a do 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 do. When I'm a do 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 do. What's that body spot, Jim? And of course, we're discussing the Muppets. I'm joined by Jacob Martin and Jason Neil Millennial. How are you both doing?
Doing great.
Doing all right.
I'm looking forward to doing this. But we're getting quite into the Muppets lately. Watching all sorts of Muppets movies and TV shows on Disney Plus. But first bit into the Muppets with the 2011 movie. Before then, I never heard of the Muppets before.
All right. Um. Oh, you were asking me.
Yeah, well, how did you guys
Oh.
get into the Muppets?
Yeah. Well, with me, I knew of the Muppets growing up. Actually, growing up, I watched more Sesame Street as a kid, and
Yeah.
didn't watch as much of the Muppets compared to Sesame Street. So I knew some of the characters, like Kermit the Frog, because he was on Sesame Street. Some of the VHS they used to have. Uh, I didn't watch much of the Muppets, but I knew of them. And I think before I got into the Muppets, like elementary, middle school age, I think I had seen at least. I think I saw like the Muppet movie like when I was wee little, and I know I saw Muppet Treasure Island, but that was about it. And then coincidentally, also in 2011, freshman year of high school, I went on a field trip to Disney World in band class. And so I got to go to all the parks, including Hollywood Studios. And I'm not sure if it's still there or not, but one of the attractions that was there at that time was Muppet Vision 3D. And we got to see that show. I think it was one of the last things Jim Henson worked on before he died. Uh, this like Muppet attraction that used 3D technology, and I thought it was awesome. I thought it was hilarious. I love seeing all the characters. I'm like, you know what? I actually really like the Muppets. These are really funny characters. And not to mention the stuff that I had seen pop up was always stuff I liked as a kid. Like growing up, I also heard the John Denver and the Muppets, 12 Days of Christmas on the radio. And I always got a kick out of that. Fun fact, I reviewed that album for the first time recently. 10 out of 10 album, by the way. So after seeing Muppet Vision, I'm like, you know what? Coincidentally, a new Muppet movie was coming out around that time, that Muppets movie, just called The Muppets. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go see this movie. I convinced my family to go take me to see that movie because it was coming out around my birthday that year. Saw the movie, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I think it was one of my favorite movies that year. And then after that, I went down the Muppet rabbit hole. I watched all the other Muppet movies, and then I first started watching the Muppet Show and trying to get my hands on as much Muppets as possible. And I thought it was and I think it's a great series, great characters. I love the humor, the songs, the personalities of the characters. Uh, when the Muppets is done right, it puts a giant grin on my face.
I couldn't agree more on that. Look, we've got Nick in the chat. Hello, Nick.
Nick.
Cool.
Yeah, two good albums.
So how did you get into the Muppets, Jason?
Oh man, of course I go way back, I guess, with the Muppets. When I was a kid, there was I think only 3 movies that were out. I don't remember when they all came out, but I'm sure it was the Muppet movie, Muppet Take Manhattan, and the Great Muppet Caper. And I had we used to always tape stuff off TV on blank VHS tapes back when I was a kid. So I had a bunch of blank VHS tapes that we taped on TV, and I had Muppets Take Manhattan and I had the Great Muppet Caper on VHS on one of those blank VHS tapes. And so I used to watch the heck out of those 2 movies. Those were like the 2 big movies for me as a kid that I really fell in love with the Muppets watching those 2 things. And I'm pretty sure I watched the Muppet Show. I don't remember a lot about it. Of course, I watched Sesame Street, like you said. I loved Sesame Street as a kid, and Kermit the Frog would show up on Sesame Street sometimes that I remember. So there was a connection there. But also, I think there was Muppet Babies was like a cartoon series I used to watch as a kid. Yeah, so I was all about the Muppets as a kid. I was a huge fan. And when they came back with the Muppet Christmas Carol and the Muppets Treasure Island, I got to see those in theater, and I thought those were like my favorite two movies. Is the Brian Henson movies are so good. I wish he would have done more movies like that. That's my favorite style of the Muppets is put him in a classic story, and yeah, I loved it. So I tell you, every time a Muppet movie came out, I got so excited, and I'm so sad that I haven't seen a Muppet movie in a long time. I wish they would make more Muppet movies.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah,
I've got
it's been 10 years since we've last had one in theaters.
It's been a while. But I've got a hot take. I've never actually watched an episode of Sesame Street all the way through.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I've never watched one.
Yeah.
I know there's quite a lot of series.
That's gonna be hard to get into because it started in 1969 and they're still making episodes to this day. So
yeah, I'm never gonna catch up with them.
I don't know about you. I'm sorry, I just woke up from a nap. I'm forgetting. I can't think of your name. So,
Adam.
Jacob. Thank you, Jacob. Yeah, I can't think now. Jacob, I don't know about you. Like to me, as a kid, it was like I watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Reading Rainbow, and Sesame Street. Those were like the three must watches as a kid.
The strange thing is I'd never watched Mr. Rogers as a kid.
Oh man.
Yeah. I wasn't familiar with Mr. Rogers until like several years ago when I think when that documentary came out and then Tom Hanks played him in that biopic movie was when I really got to be familiar with that. But I do remember watching Reading Rainbow a few times. I remember that being pretty good. Primarily as a kid, I watched Sesame Street, Blue's Clues, and Thomas the Tank Engine, if we're going educational.
Okay, that's a good one too. I'm a kid of the 80s, so maybe if you were born in my era.
Oh, I was born in the mid 90s, so
yeah, we're slightly different era, but my era, that was the three big ones for me. But yeah.
I think the biggest one for me was Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Yeah, that was way past my time.
Yeah.
Fraggle Rock was a thing I remember as a kid, and another Jim Henson thing that they did. Yeah, like I said, the Muppet Show was really good as well, and I think you can watch those on Disney Plus. The Muppet Show.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. The Muppet Show.
I've seen quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah, I think that's on Disney Plus. Most of the Muppet movies are on Disney Plus, at least the ones Disney has ownership of.
Yeah.
So, but before we start the stream, a bit earlier today, I told you guys to come up with your top 5 favorite Muppets.
I know.
So I guess might as well,
yeah.
Might as well go through that right now.
Okay.
Sure. That it was hard compiling a top 5 Muppets. I was thinking about it throughout the day. Well. I mean, there's just so many great characters.
I know.
Oh man, I never even put them in the right order.
Well, I've got a top 10.
You got top 10.
There was too many what I wanted to include, so I just did top 10. So I might as well start off with do mine.
Okay.
So my number 10 is one of the newest Muppets, and that's Walter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like him.
My number 9 is Scooter. I like Scooter. I think it's quite funny.
Is he the one with the glasses? And
yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like the
manager kind of guy or something.
Behind the scenes manager guy.
Yeah, yeah.
My number 8 is a character Robin, which is Kermit's nephew.
Oh, okay, yeah, Robin's cute.
I wish it was in more
He's
Muppet movies and
him,
shows.
is he?
Yeah. I don't know when was the last time I've seen Robin in anything
I know.
Muppet related. He was prominent primarily in the Muppet Show,
Yeah.
Muppet movie.
But my number 7's a character Rizzo. Yeah, Rizzo's great.
Rizzo's great. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Rizzo.
Yeah.
My number 6, I feel bad it's only number 6, but it's a character Gonzo.
Oh yeah.
Gonzo the Great.
Gonzo's awesome.
With his chicken girlfriend, Camilla.
I think one of the biggest mistakes in the whole Muppet franchise was when they tried to give him a backstory in Muppets from Space, and where it's like he's an alien or something. I'm like, no, the best joke about Gonzo is you didn't know who he was.
Yeah, they always refer to him as the other thing or something.
Yeah, the whatever.
Whatever he is or something.
There's quite a few Muppets you could say that for. Like, what sort of creature sweetens?
Big hairy monster.
That's
Yeah.
probably it. He's not really based off an animal, I don't think.
No.
But my number 5 is a character, Pepe.
Yeah.
I think
Pepe,
he's the Muppet that makes me laugh the most.
Yeah,
He's got some pretty funny moments.
he's good. He's fairly newer. He's is he in the movies as much? Maybe the late he's in more.
He was. I think the biggest role I've seen him in was in that recent Muppet Haunted Mansion special that came out
Yeah,
a
he
few
was
years
in that
ago.
quite a bit.
Yeah, he was in the one of the newer Muppet TV shows they did. He was prominent. And he's really good in that.
So I'll get to my number 4, which is a character that I don't remember the last time he appeared in the Muppets. I think he appeared in the Muppets movie, and that's Rolf.
Oh yeah, Rolf.
Classic. Yeah.
Yeah, good character.
He was one of the first Muppets as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Have you all watched the
I think
Jim
he might even be the
Henson
first one.
documentary?
Yeah.
I think they thought about Rolf being like the first big one.
Yeah. That was like one of the original ones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I'll get to my top 3. These are all the most iconic Muppet characters. My number 3.
I know what they are. Yeah.
Yeah. My number 3 is Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Go love Miss Piggy.
Gotta have her. Yeah.
Who doesn't like Miss Piggy?
So my number 2 is I'm going to go with Kermit the Frog. He's probably most people's number 1, but he's my number 2. But I like him almost as much as the number 1, but my number 1's Fozzie Bear.
The Fozzie. Okay.
Yeah, Fozzie's good.
Waka waka. I've got no idea why he says that.
Waka waka waka. Yeah.
Like he can tell the worst jokes and still get a good laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all point of the character. Oh, he has some. You're right. He has some of the best lines in the Muppet movies. Like I always remember the something about my birthday or something. He goes, I had to wait a whole year for my birthday or something like that. And I don't know why that's so funny to me, but
Yeah. No, I like the joke in the Muppet movie where he's driving the car. And he's like, "I'm a bear in his natural habitat, a Studebaker."
Studebaker.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Oh man, he has some good stuff.
All right, so if I had to rank top 5 Muppets, I guess I'll get my honorable mentions out of the way, no particular order. It's off the top of my head. Gonzo, I hate to not put in the top 5, but
Yeah, I feel bad for that.
Rizzo, very underrated character. I love the Gonzo Rizzo pairings, especially in the Muppet Christmas Carol, Muppet Treasure Island. Those are the funniest those 2 characters have ever been in.
Oh, they're a great combo.
Yeah. I think that's part of the reason why I didn't like Muppet Haunted Mansion as much, because they paired Gonzo and that Pepe guy, and I don't think Pepe's as memorable of a character.
Yeah.
But so you got that. Beaker. I get a
Yeah.
lot of good laughs out of Beaker.
Yeah. He's pretty funny.
I'm gonna
I,
group
I feel
Doctor.
bad for Beaker.
I'm
I
gonna
feel
group.
bad
Oh
for him.
yeah, because he's always the guinea pig.
He always gets.
Just give him
Uh,
a day.
also say Doctor Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. I'll just group them all together because I just love that musical act. But shout out especially the animal. He's really funny.
Yeah.
I think the other one I'd have to give honorable mention. I guess maybe Robin. That or Uncle Deadly. I like him too. Uh, top five. Number five. I'm actually going to go with the two crankiest characters in the Muppets, but Statler and Waldorf.
So good. I love
They are
Yeah.
they are probably the best trolls in anything.
Oh.
Like they heckle the crap out of Fonzie, and yet I think that's what makes that segment work, especially on the Muppet Show. Is like not only is like the bad Fozzie jokes bad, but the Statler and Waldorf heckling makes it even funnier. And they're not even like I wouldn't necessarily consider them like toxic. They're just like, just picking on him.
They're just old men that
What's funny is they just pop up.
Mostly.
They're not really in the movie, and then they just pop up for a joke, and then they're
Even
out.
in the movies too, they do have some of the best.
Oh, they do.
They have some of the best stuff. Yeah. Even my dad, who is like not a big Muppet guy, he's like, I relate to these two. Like these are the best characters. So yeah, that's my number five. Number four. Truthfully, I'd want to put him at number one because I think he's the funniest character, but the other three are more iconic, so I'll put him at number four. To me, the funniest Muppet character is the Swedish Chef. Just the funny. He has the best segments on the Muppet Show, where he's like trying to cook and it all backfires. And like sometimes it's like the like even
he's not a good chef at all.
Like even the food that they have their own personalities. Like sometimes they attack against him because they don't want to be cooked. I just think it's a funny bit. I love, and then some of the cameos he makes in some of these Muppet movies are some of my favorite jokes in some of the movies. Like I love the scene in Muppet Treasure Island where he's trying to cook food on the island, and then there's one of the foods like, well, when else are you going to put him in the movie? Where else are you going to put him in the movie?
Yeah, it's got to be the chef somewhere.
And then I love the joke in the Muppet 2011 where he opens the fridge and there's like the old rotted food and he grabs a flamethrower. He's like, "Hey, no, my dear friend." He's like spoofing Scarface. So yeah, Swedish Chef. I love that guy. I think three. I'm gonna go Fozzie Bear. Very funny character. Pretty much like what Adam said. I would agree with. Number two, I'm gonna go Miss Piggy. Definitely one of the more memorable characters. I like the characters. Well, she's confident, but she's also very sassy at the same time.
Yeah,
and that leads to some pretty funny comedic banter, especially with her and Kermit. Speaking of Kermit, I got Kermit at number one. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Kermit's probably the most relatable Muppet character. He's kind of like the leader of the Muppets, but he's probably the most down to earth guy. And I think out of all the Muppets, if I wanted to just sit and have a conversation, drink some sweet tea or something, Kermit the Frog easily. And plus,
I love doing gym interviews with Kermit the Frog.
Oh yeah.
I would. I would argue Rainbow Connection is the best Muppet song ever. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've got to agree with that as well.
yeah.
So
It's a classic. All right. Gosh, man, yeah, it is hard. The five I have is, man, I have to put these in my five. Definitely some of the core members of the group. I feel like so one of my top five is not really core members, just one that I think is funny. But yeah, as you mentioned, some great honorable mention. Rizzo is so good in Muppet Treasure Island and Christmas Carol. That's where he really shines. It's really Gonzo and Rizzo they're my favorite parts of those movies. I love those two together. Um, a lot of the comedy relief comes from those two. Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say the same thing as you. I was gonna say Walder, whatever. Oh my gosh, when
Yeah.
they come in just for one joke maybe, and it's so funny that I'm like, oh man, it's good because you don't want too much of them. You just want a little bit of them at a time. Like I still love Much Island where they save the Kermit and Piggy and say, we saved the pig and the frog. Well, we couldn't save the movie. It's like, what did he though? I don't know. I love that. Like it's so good. Anytime I put that in there. Beaker, I do love Beaker, and he doesn't do anything. Beep 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 beep.
Yeah, that's all he says.
And it's hilarious because you can see the anxiety in him when they're doing an experiment. It's like, like you know something bad's going to happen. But I love in the 12 Days of Christmas when Beaker he pops up for some reason.
Me, 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 me.
Beep beep beep. It's like thanks Beaker. Can't understand what you're saying, but the character I was thinking I probably put in my honorable mentions that hasn't been mentioned is Sam the Eagle. I actually quite enjoy as
Yeah,
well.
I like Sam.
yeah, Sam Eagle's pretty funny.
He's kind of more a minor character, really not a major character. I would say he kind of pops up here and there, but he also makes me laugh quite a bit because he pops in. He's like too serious or something.
He takes everything too seriously.
I think Muppet Treasure Island probably his best role he has is the second command of the ship, whatever, and he's like wants like punish somebody, he wants to like torture them, and Kermit's like, we don't do that. And he's like, oh, okay. And he keeps talking about America because Sam the Eagle is very American. He's this like very American character, and they're like, we're in Great Britain. He's like, in Great or England. He just forgets that they're in England and not.
No, I love the joke in Muppet Christmas Carol where he's trying to lecture young Ebenezer Scrooge about how to be in like business and money, and he's like, "That is the American way." And then somebody goes off the side. Oh, never mind. It is the British way.
British way. Yeah, Christmas Carol. That's what I meant. Yeah, that's when he does that. I thought it was so funny. It's American. Anyways, but yeah, Sam. I don't know. Sam. I always kind of enjoyed. Yeah. So top five. Number five. Gosh, this is so hard to put together, but I guess I'll put Miss Piggy at number five, which seems kind of low for her, but there's just so many good characters. But I had to have her in my top five because just iconic character, and the whole romance between her and Kermit is kind of funny because Kermit's so non-committal. And Piggy, it kind of makes me laugh. Kermit, and of course her voice is iconic. Yeah, and the fact that she can bust out and beat people up sometimes is pretty funny.
Oh, I love that. I love that part where like I think this thug steals her purse or whatever. I think it's Muppets Take Manhattan, and so she's going after him in the rollerblades, and she has like the probably the scariest eyes I think I've ever seen in a movie where it's like, oh.
I've not seen that. I've not seen that movie in ages.
Yeah, you don't mess with Miss Piggy. She can take people out. Yeah, I get the funny part of her is how she's so angry all the time. She snaps at the moment on anybody. Just snaps at you.
Don't call her pork chop or bacon.
No, do not do that.
No. So yeah, great character. Gosh, here's the controversial maybe take is number 4. I'm putting Kermit the Frog there.
Oh, wow.
Seems low for the character, but my top 3 I think are the funniest 3 characters. So that's why I put them. Kermit's not so much funny. He's the face of the Muppets. I mean, he's the face of the company, what do you want to call it, the franchise. He's obviously vital. He's the main character in anything you put him in. He for a good reason, because I feel like he plays off of all the funny characters really well. He's more the grounded character in some ways, more the responsible one, more the, the one that gives the advice, the one that gives the great speeches, the encourage the other ones. He's the leader. He's the leader that they all look up to. So, and it's his story for the most part. A lot of time. So I hate only putting him at number 4, but it's just that, like I said, he doesn't make me laugh quite as much as the other 3, but obviously vital character. You couldn't have the Muppets without Kermit, obviously, and he has some great. Yeah, the best songs are Kermit's. Like Kermit always sings some of my favorite songs in the movie. Yeah, so number 3, I put Fozzie as well. I think I'm at 3 too. I had to put him slightly above Kermit just because Fozzie, like I said, has some of the best, funniest lines in any of the movies and stuff like that. And that's kind of his characters. He's a bad comic, so he's always kind of making those kind of jokes. Like I said, I love that kind of stuff. And he's kind of stupid sometimes, and I love that stupid humor that he might have. Like Muppet Treasure Island, I think it's absolutely brilliant. Like it's the guy in my finger or whatever.
Oh
that
yeah.
had hired the crew.
Mr. Bimbo.
And he points at his face.
There's nothing there though.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Your finger hired the crew.
Your finger hired the crew. No, the guy that looks my finger. Like that makes it better. Yeah, I gotta put him there. Number 2, this is maybe the surprise because nobody had him like really this high, and that is the Animal. Animal is number 2 for me. I love Animal. Animal, and then he, whatever. He's like chasing the women, woman or something. I forget. I just love how over excited he gets. He just gets too wound up. And again, he's not like a major character, and he doesn't really talk. But he's one of those characters when he does say something, it makes me laugh. That's why I put him at number 2. He's always been one of my favorite parts of the movies. In control. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably my favorite Animal scene where he tries to be in control and he's like in rehabilitation, and then Jack Black's trying to train him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's trying to calm himself down. He's too kind of out of control, so he's trying to get therapy or something to calm himself. And drums is like his trigger or something about that.
Drums.
Yeah, I don't know. I love Animal. That's why I put him number 2. Number 1, you probably guess it. I haven't said him. Gonzo. Gonzo's always my one. I think he's the funniest character in the whole thing. He has this very dark sense of humor or something. I don't know. He always wants to do something that might kill him, and he's excited about it. Like, hey, like you might blow up. Oh yeah, that's exciting. I don't know. I'm making things up, but he just, I don't know, things that are going to kill him. He just gets so excited about it. And it's like, that's kind of dark, but it's hilarious to me that he almost loves the idea of doing something that's going to hurt him and doing death-defying things. He's kind of a, what do you call, daredevil. I don't know. Loves to do stunts and stuff like that. And I don't know. Again, him and Rizzo, I would say him and Rizzo together are my favorite two. When they're together, they're just nothing better than those two. Like I said, but yeah.
So I think we've all gone with Kermit, Miss Pig, and Fozzie in our top 5. But it's cool. We've all got different number 1.
Yeah, we had different number 1. So
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many Muppet characters.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Right. I might as well mention all the Muppet Show episodes I've seen. I've seen 11 in total.
Okay.
So I've seen the one with Bruce Forsyth, Elton John, Julie Andrews, John Cleese, Alice Cooper. I was surprised that he did one. Yeah. Sylvester Stallone, which is probably my favorite one I've seen.
Really?
Also, Mark Hamill. It was a whole Star Wars themed
Yeah, that whole Star.
episode. Yeah. Christopher Reeve, Debbie Harry from Blondie,
Yeah.
Paul Simon. I was shocked that he did one, and Johnny Cash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, some of those I don't think I've even seen.
I just watched the ones that interested me. Really.
Yeah. I remember Elton John. I was thinking John Denver probably did it one time or something, but I couldn't remember. But
I couldn't find that one.
I love the music that they get on there.
Yeah, I like. I've seen some. There's one I like that's got Vincent Price in it. That's
really
hilarious.
That's
there's another one that's got Jim Neighbors, who best known for playing Gomer Pyle on Andy Griffith. That one's really funny. Steve Martin's in one that's pretty good.
Yeah, he's good.
Also, another one with Don Knotts that I remember watching.
Don Knotts, man. Yeah.
But have you both seen the Muppet series?
Any of
about 8 years ago.
The newer series?
Yeah, about eight years ago.
Where they try to make it like The Office?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that. It just looked like they were trying to do something too different, and I wasn't too big on the style, so that kind of turned me off from watching it.
I think
and then they set up a plot line early on that was leaked where like Kermit ditches Miss Piggy and goes after I think like a Japanese pig. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, this is weird. Especially considering the last, because I think this came out after Muppets Most Wanted, and they had like Kermit and Miss Piggy get married at the end of that movie. I'm like, talk about character betrayal there. So I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna.
It took me a bit to get used to that part, but it's quite a mature Muppet series. There's quite a lot of innuendos in it. Yeah,
there's a little bit more innuendos in there,
especially from Pepe and Rizzo.
Yeah, Rizzo's in that show.
Yeah,
yeah.
The Valley Girl, like I forget her name, in the Dr. Teeth band, whatever. She talks like this, and she's
Janice.
Actually pretty good because. And they kind of allude to they probably smoke marijuana in the show, and I think the saxophone player, he seems like he's stoned all the time, but Janice will say some outrageous things like, I don't know, I forget. They'll all talk and then everybody will stop talking and still talking, and she'll say something like, I don't care who you are, I'm not taking my clothes off or something. You're like, what are you talking about, Janice?
I didn't realize Sam the Eagle liked her.
Yeah, he had a huge crush on her.
You wouldn't have thought that.
That was a funny plot line, yeah. And he was jealous of anybody that talked to her.
But I also saw a Muppet series that released 4 years ago. It was called Muppets Now, but I wasn't too crazy on it.
That wasn't that.
Honest. There were a few segments in that I liked, but I wasn't really crazy on it. I thought it was just okay.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one either, so I couldn't really comment on it. I remember when they advertised it.
Yeah, I can barely remember it when it came out.
I recommend the Muppet series though.
I like the Muppet series. They only had one season, but it was a funny idea of like maybe having her own talk show. Kermit was the stage manager or whatever that was running it, and Fozzie was doing like the comic, before the show, doing the jokes and stuff, and everybody else. I was working in the office, working on the show, and they had a lot of good guests, stars on there and stuff. But they had I remember back in I don't know if it was the 90s, they redid like the Muppet Show. They kind of did like it was like the Muppet Show, but it came out in like the 90s or something like that. And that's when I think Pepe was first introduced as like one of the main characters of that show. from what I remember. But it was kind of like that, where like they put it on the variety show and they have different, celebrities on there. And I remember that being pretty good. I don't know how long that lasts, but I remember watching that. I want to say in the '90s, but um, and then the Muppets Mayhem. Have you watched that?
Oh, the one
Yeah,
with
yeah.
I didn't get to watch
thought-
that one either.
I thought it was quite good.
I quite enjoyed it. It was interesting having the Muppets Mayhem band, whatever, being the main characters was an interesting idea. Not having like your major, you're not having like Kermit, and Miss Piggy, and Fozzie, and all those usually your main characters, but having kind of these more minor characters, kind of main characters. I thought was an interesting idea. And there was one episode I still think is one of the funniest episodes I've ever seen. They do basically a spoof off of the Get Back documentary,
Yeah, they do.
the Beatles documentary that Peter Jackson does. They do an episode which is basically just a parody of like they're doing like a documentary of them. Oh, it's so funny. Like if you watch Get Back and you watch that Muppet episode, you're like, to me it was one of the funniest episodes I've ever seen, because I thought it was so like perfect of a comedy. Like it was like most of the shows were decent, and that episode was like brilliant. I was like, that's brilliant, like writing and parodying. And you only get it if you know about Get Back, the Beatles documentary.
But enough about the Muppet shows. Let's just talk a bit about the Muppet films. So, do you guys have a favorite Muppets movie?
For me, there's a lot of good Muppet movies, but my very favorite is the original Muppet movie. That one, I think, is just like a great origin story of how the Muppets got together. It's got the original crew behind the film, Jim Henson, Frank Oz, those classic Muppet performers who made those characters really, the characters that they are. Some of my favorite Muppet songs are in that movie, like Rainbow Connection. Moving Right Along is a great song.
Yeah, love that one.
I'm going to go back there someday. That's a good one from Gonzo. Very, very, very funny. I love the villain in that film. What's his name? Hopper, I think his name, who wants Kermit's frog legs. Kind of a wild storyline.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the Muppet movies have really good cameos, but I think Muppet movie probably has the best cameos, because you got like Steve Martin in there, who's really funny in the film. You got Orson Welles is like probably the wildest cameo, because he's pretty much the one who gives the Muppets their contract. You got Mel Brooks as this German scientist that wants to fry Kermit's brain, and he's like so over the top, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like Richard Pryor's in there, and I think Bob Hope is in there, and so many other like wild cameos from actors of that time. I think many of which are like comedic legends of that era, and it was great seeing them in a Muppet movie. I think this one has the most heart to it, because you see like the Muppets before they got big, and kind of like the hurdles they had to get through to get there. And I think this one's probably the most heartfelt out of all the Muppet movies. Between that and the 2011 film, I love that one as well. But I just love seeing the humble beginnings of the Muppets and where they got to where they became. And I think it's a pretty good one. I love the movie.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be the Muppets Christmas Carol. I love that movie. And a lot of it's because Christmas Carol is like one of the greatest stories ever written. Such a great, I love all, I just love that story. And there's been different interpretations or different adaptations of that story, of course. And they're all so good, because I don't know, Scrooge is such a great character. The redemption storyline is so good for us. And Tiny Tim is one of the greatest sympathetic characters ever created. And I thought the Muppets did a great job with the story. And Michael Caine was an amazing Ebenezer Scrooge. Of course, Oscar-winning actor. He was one of the best Scrooges I've seen. And then, the way they used the Muppet characters, I thought was perfect. And even getting Gonzo and Rizzo in there just as narrators, I thought was a really funny idea that really worked. The music is so amazing. Oh my gosh, the music is so good. One More Night Till Christmas, Tiny Tim's, God Bless Us All, whatever. I mean, man, if it's like I cry every time I watch that movie. Tiny Tim is such a sad character that I don't know. It just gets me every time I see Tiny Tim, even as a little frog. Tiny Tim, it's like, oh no, Tiny Tim, no, don't die. He's so nice and so tragic, such a tragic character.
Yeah, I've still not seen that movie.
Ah,
I've
Oh,
got to watch it this Christmas
you got to
at
watch
some
it.
point.
oh,
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. One of my wild Muppet stories was I thought Muppet Christmas Carol was overrated for the longest time. Like I watched it. I think when I first got into the Muppet fate, when I first got into the Muppets, I watched it and I'm like, it's okay. Like I don't. It's probably on the lower end of Muppet movies. It's like I didn't even care for the songs when I saw it the first time. I kind of sat on that movie for like 8 years, probably
Yeah.
maybe 10 years. And then 10 years later, I'll rewatch and I'm like, man, teenage me was crazy. This is like top 3 Muppet movies. This movie's awesome.
Oh, yeah, so good. It's funny. The music's amazing, and it still brings you that emotional moments in the movie that the story does. So yeah, it works on all levels.
Well, my favorite Muppet movie is the one for 2011. It's what got me into the Muppets.
Great movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the songs in it as well. Am I a man or am I a Muppet?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I pictures him in my head. Yeah, that
I,
song always gets to me.
I love Pictures in My Head. That's my favorite song in the movie.
But yeah, I love Muppet Treasure Island as well, and of course the Muppet movie, 1979. They're my three favorite
Yeah.
Muppet movies.
I think all of our favorite Muppet movies are my top 3. So it's like the Muppet movie is number 1, then the Muppets, and then Christmas Carol's number 3 for me.
Okay.
But I think Muppets Take Manhattan is really good as well.
Yeah, that one's good. I don't watch it as much as some
I've
of
not
the
seen
other
it in a
ones.
while though.
It's still pretty good. I think if I had to extend the top 5, I know number 4 is Treasure Island. Actually, might have Manhattan at number 5. Actually, so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Great Muppet Caper was my favorite as a kid. Like I said, I watched that a lot as a kid before the new movies started coming out in theaters. And so I have a lot of nostalgia for that one because again the music is pretty darn good. But I love this. I love that one. That's the only one where it's like Kermit, Gonzo, and Fozzie are playing like these characters. They're playing like a story. They're not playing. Almost every movie is, hey, I'm Kermit. I'm whatever. We're gonna put on a show, or I want to go I want to go to Hollywood, and it's always let's get the gang together and put a show on. And Great Mo Kipper is like the only one where it's like an actual just story about a mystery, a a crime, mystery kind of thing, and we're trying to catch the criminals, So it's an interesting story in that way.
yeah,
And I love Kermit and Fozzie and Gonzo. I love those three together, and those three are really great in that movie together.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I like that one. I think my favorite joke is the movie having a hard time making you buy that Kermit and Fozzie
Yeah,
are identical twins, and they just run that joke to the ground.
oh, it's hilarious. I just love the beginning when they're in a hot air balloon and they're like looking at they're looking at names like the names of the people that are making the movie come up and like, oh, what's that? And like they pointing out, I was like, that's brilliant. I've never seen anybody do that in a movie where you're. I mean, it's that great fourth wall break that I love about the Muppets. They break the fourth wall constantly,
Yeah.
and I love when they do that.
Yeah, I'm like, hey Kermit, what does BSC mean? I
Yeah.
have no idea.
But my dad actually had a question that he was going to ask in the live stream. He's not asked it yet though, but I might have. He'd see which Muppet character are you the most like.
Which Muppet character am I the most like?
So I'll probably say Kermit, but even though my favorite is Fozzie.
Well, I feel like Kermit's probably the most down to earth. Some of the other ones are more goofy, but I
I
think
think I
Kermit's
think
like
we're
the
all
one
going
you
to.
could easily like resonate with.
I think we're all going to choose Kermit for this one, probably.
That's a hard one.
Mhm. Yeah, it's quite a hard one. So I think it was not Kermit. I don't know who else it would really be.
Yeah, I don't have the death wish that Gonzo has. I can't put myself in Gonzo's shoes. I don't know. Animal? I don't know. I'm not quite like Animal. I'm not quite that crazy.
You know,
Uh,
I don't think you just chase after random women.
right? Yeah.
I've thought my own Muppet question. Like, what different franchise would you like the Muppets to do? Like, did Treasure Island, did Christmas
Yes.
Carol,
Yes. I'd love to do another.
another Muppet Star Wars.
I was about to say that. I
Yeah.
think
Star Wars.
Muppet Star Wars. It would be easy to do since Disney owns both franchises, so you could do like a cool crossover with it.
Or the Muppets meet the Avengers.
I can see that one too, but I think I'd
I
rather
definitely
see
want the Star Wars one though.
Yeah.
Muppet Star Wars.
Star Wars would be perfect. I thought the Three Musketeers could be another one that they could do.
Yeah, if we're
Yeah.
doing like the classic literature.
Yeah, classic literature. I'm thinking
Yeah.
like Three Musketeers.
Three Musketeers would be prime for Muppets. Kermit, Gonzo, and Fozzie are your Three Musketeers. There you go.
Yeah. That would probably be the case if you did that.
Robin Hood maybe could be one. I don't know.
Robin Hood, I can see that too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like all the old stories. Like, what would be a good one? Moby Dick.
Moby
Dick. That just popped in my head. Gonzo is Captain Ahab.
Well, I guess maybe if the Muppets did Aladdin, that'd be pretty cool. I wonder who would be the genie though.
Yeah, who'd be the yeah? I'm trying to think.
That'd be kind of hard.
Might be a new character, but yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, if Robin Williams was still alive, that'd be easy.
I know.
Yeah.
Maybe I can't think of any Muppet that could do the genie role.
I know.
Yeah, I want another Muppet series and Muppet movie soon.
Yeah.
I think they should do that. I think they get it. That's like I said, Christmas Carol and Treasure Island are some of my favorite movies because I love the idea because stories are good already, and then you just pop them in there. It works perfectly, and just do the Muppet humor.
Yeah, and then you can mix, have the puppets, and then do real actors playing some of the more additional roles, and I think that was a good mix. Yes. Can you imagine Muppet Christmas Carol without Michael Caine as Scrooge, or Muppet Treasure Island without Tim Curry as Long John Silver?
I was gonna say,
yeah, like it would work as well.
Like, I mean, I would say those are my two probably favorite human performances. Is Michael Caine and Tim Curry. They are so good in those movies. Like you mentioned, they really make when I rewatch those movies, I go, oh my gosh, they are so good as those characters. I'm trying to think who else would fit in there. I don't know.
I mean, some of them have already been in Muppet movies in the past. Like, I would say I could see Jack Black maybe working in a Muppet movie, but he already cameoed in one.
Yeah.
Like Amy Adams and Jason Segel were great. And
they were good.
They were definitely.
I loved Ricky Gervais in Muppets Most Wanted. He was a scene stealer.
Yeah, he was quite funny in that.
Gervais and Tina Fey were probably the best in that movie.
Oh, yeah. Tina Fey, yeah.
She had a big crush on Kermit.
Yeah, kind of a weird crush on Kermit, but still funny.
Yeah.
I think has done good roles.
Charles Grodin was in the Muppet Caper. He was pretty good there.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
then the guy who played Hopper in
Yeah,
Muppet
yeah,
movie was good. I forgot
yeah.
his name. I see the guy's face.
Yeah, definitely have to watch Muppet Christmas Carol. Christmas time.
Yeah, you're gonna have to watch that. That one's so good.
I've seen parts of it on TV, but I've not watched it all
Yeah.
the way through.
Is that the only one you hadn't seen?
I've not seen the Caper one either.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah, Great Muppet Caper's good. I mentioned this to Adam before we went live. The only Muppet stuff I'm not as big on, I was pretty disappointed in Muppet Haunted Mansion. It wasn't awful,
Yeah,
but
I was disappointed with that.
it was just kind of an Muppet thing. It didn't really do
I
much.
don't remember much about it either.
Yeah, it was just kind of a throwaway Muppet thing. And I really don't care for Muppets from Space.
that's the worst of the series for sure.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't fit in at all because there's no music.
That's like the biggest like what the moment was.
Yeah.
They decided not to have the Muppets sing, and they're just like breakdancing to random music. I was like, what?
It just wasn't funny. I don't know. The story didn't work.
Yeah, and then they try to answer questions for Gonzo that don't really need answered.
Yeah, it didn't really amount to anything. And it felt like there wasn't enough. I mean, it was Gonzo heavy, obviously, and I guess Rizzo maybe. It felt like there wasn't enough of the other characters. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the characters didn't have their moment.
It's been so long since I've seen the movie, and I was like, yeah, this one's not working.
That's the only one I would say I would not watch. That it just doesn't fit in with the series.
That's one of the two Muppet movies that aren't owned by Disney. I think Sony owns both that one and Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yeah. The Muppets Most Wanted. When I first watched it, I was disappointed. I think because I didn't think it was as good as the Muppets, which was so good. It's my second favorite Muppet movie. And so when they did a follow up, I was like, oh, I was so excited. I was like, man, I want more. Yeah, they did such a good job. And I was a little disappointed with it. And I thought, I was just like, they didn't do a good job. But then when I rewatched it recently, I actually quite liked the Muppets Most Wanted. I think it's actually not a bad movie. There's actually some good there.
Yeah, I think what hurts that one to me is I think the story, I think when you dive deep into it, it's kind of hard. Like, I feel like a lot of the Muppets were like weirdly cruel to Kermit in that movie. And so the fact that like aside from one character, they couldn't tell the two apart is just kind of sad to see. I think that's like the one aspect of the movie I thought was problematic. But the rest of the movie is really funny. I love the cameos, and I love the soundtrack in that movie.
Yeah, they still about going mining.
Really
Breaking out
the coal mine.
Prison.
Oh yeah,
They're breaking out of the prison, really.
Oh yeah, that was sung by. Oh, that's a fun cameo. That's Jermaine Clement, who was also the singing crab in Moana.
Yeah, he's like the king of the
Shiny.
Yeah, I really liked. I underestimated the Big House song. I think it is the Tina Fey song she sings.
Oh, that one's so good.
Yeah, when I rewatched it, it's actually really good. And then I really love the pairing of Sam the Eagle with Ty Burrell.
Oh yeah, that was a funny. He kind of channels Peter Sellers in the Pink Panther movies.
I would like the series just on those two together.
I love him. He's I think he's a French policeman or something like that. And so there's this French and American thing, but then they actually become good friends by the end. I thought it was actually a good storyline between.
Yeah, they become rivals, and then they become bros.
At the end, they're friendly, and I was like, "Oh, this kind of actually nice, kind of storyline between the two."
I like that. Yeah, there's some good songs in that. I love that song Constantine sings and Miss Piggy, like, I can give you anything you want, give you anything. Like almost has a disco vibe. I like Miss Piggy does like a duet with Celine Dion, which is awesome.
That was
Oh
good.
yeah,
That was good. I like that.
they sang quite well together.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Celine Dion. It's always good when she gets in. Yeah.
And and I like that one with Ricky Gervais where he's like, "I'm number one, you're number
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
I'm better than you. I'm number one."
Yeah. Yeah.
That song cracks me up.
Yeah. I think like the Muppets, the movie The Muppets, probably my favorite soundtrack of all the movies. But
Probably mine as well.
Yeah, that one is such a good soundtrack.
soundtrack,
You mentioned Manor Muppet. Life's a Happy Song is one of my favorite songs in
good.
that movie.
Um,
I love
yes.
the oh the that villain rap song.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was pretty funny.
Uh, that song just randomly pops on my playlist every once in a while. And, like this serious song plays, and then it goes, "I'm Tex Richmond, Mr. Texas T. People call me rich because I got more money. I got more cash flow than Robert has De Niro."
That's my favorite line. That one.
I just I love the meta humor or the fourth wall breaking of like the I think it's the two henchmen are like the bear and this other creature, and they
Yeah, I'm not sure what creature Deadly is.
at one point I think they look at each other and like are we the bad guys or something.
No, then he's like maniacal laugh,
Maniacal laugh.
maniacal laugh.
Oh, so good.
I'm about to find out about this. He's screaming for about 2 days straight.
No, I even like the part where I think one of the characters is like, if such and such money can be raised on this date, then the theater can be saved. Oh, why is that even in there? Oh, I think that's added. I think that's a convenience to the plot or something.
Yeah, they call it out. Yeah, we didn't have that, the movie wouldn't happen or something. Yeah, yeah.
Do you guys have a favourite funny moment in the Muppets in general?
That's hard because there's just so many.
I don't really know if I have a particular favourite. I've got
Favorite.
favourites.
I will say if we're talking about my favorite Muppet movie, the Muppet movie, one of the scenes that gets the biggest laugh out of me. The I love the Mel Brooks scene where he's like the mad scientist that's trying to fry Kermit's brains.
Yeah.
So he's like going all crazy with that. And then Miss Piggy she goes all gung ho, big bug eyes, like karate chops all the goons. And
Yeah.
then
That's
and then
funny.
Mel Brooks is like, "What the heck is this? A pig that go bananas?" And then like she kicks him in and fries his brain, and then he's like, "Rivet, rivet, 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 rivet." I love the all Steve Martin cameo is pretty good too, where he's clearly like does not care about his job. He's supposed to be like this fancy waiter, and he just has like,
oh, thank you.
Like he just has shorts on. It's not really he's like the worst dressed out of all the staff, and like he gets so annoyed whenever like Kermit or Miss Piggy calls him, and then when he's on the phone, he's like, "Kermit the Frog, are you Kermit the Frog? Telephone." I like that bit in the movie too, and that's like played against like this very serious scene with like Kermit and Miss Piggy on their first date.
Yeah,
I might keep the background like this actually.
I know it keeps changing.
Yeah, I just noticed it that you could do that.
Yeah.
I forgot about changing that.
Yep.
You know, a scene that made me laugh so hard, I think, is on Muppet Treasure Island where they're doing roll call. And they're
Oh
calling
yeah.
out, and I just love I think Tom or some old Tom, dead Tom.
Dead Tom.
They're looking around, and then there's I don't know.
Oh yeah.
And then I like it later on where it's like, oh no, Dead Tom is dead.
Yeah,
Wasn't he always called Dead Tom?
he's
Oh
dead.
yeah.
That's why it's Tom. That's absolutely hilarious. Like this, there's like Sweetums, and it's or whatever. It's some like or some nice name. It's like the really big
Yeah,
ugly
sweet,
creature
sweetened.
here, and they're
I
like
used to be a bit. I used to be a bit scared of him when I was younger.
I think they say big, ugly, bug-eyed something, and it's like this really attractive lady's like here, and it's like what?
And then they're all like,
But I think that whole scene's pretty hilarious.
oh yeah.
There's a Muppet scene I think is quite funny in the 2011 movie when Gonzo's working at that toilet warehouse. Out of all the jobs he could have gotten.
And I remember Fonzie's like, wow, that is a very expensive looking explosion. How much was that in the budget?
What's on the budget?
Oh, I like the travel by map. I like that joke in the film was pretty funny. Remember when they kidnapped Jack Black?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite parts of that movie.
I'll probably leave live stream here. If anyone's watching, please let us know your thoughts on Muppets, favourite characters, shows and films. But do you guys have any final words before we conclude this?
Someday you'll find it, the Rainbow Connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
I was listening to that song earlier today. Yeah.
My only words is make more Muppet movies, Disney, please.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially Muppet Star Wars.
And yeah, Muppet Star Wars. And get a better Kermit voice, because the current Kermit voice sucks.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Till next time. Peace out, peace and love, and ciao.